Hey there, I'm Joe, lead mechanic here at Tomaso Bikes, and today we're going to go over step by step how to assemble your new ready-to-ride Tomaso Hybrid. So before we get started, there's a few things you're going to need. Something to cut the zip ties first and foremost. You can use wire cutters, a beefy pair of kitchen scissors, or something along those lines, just be careful. Next, you're going to need something to apply the grease with. Paper towels work just fine. You can also use Q-tips. There are three main steps in the process when you receive your new ready-to-ride build from us: unpacking, assembly, and adjustments. First thing you're going to notice on top of the box is a clear FedEx sleeve with an envelope inside. Pull that envelope out. Inside you're going to find your sales invoice containing the serial number for your new bike, a 60-point checklist that our techs fill out after completing your tune, and an important warranty information card to register your bike. Next, we're going to open the box. Grab something sharp, cut the tape, but be sure not to puncture the box. Once you get the box open, you're going to notice a full set of paper instructions to go along with this video, a personalized note from the tech who built your bike, a full set of Allen keys, and the skewer for your front wheel. Once the top sheet's popped off, you're going to see the wheel tray. Inside is your owner's manual, a set of reflectors, the seat, and some grease that you're going to use throughout the installation process. Once the wheel tray's out and the seat's been set to the side, look in between the wheels and you'll see a cardboard cutout holding the bike and wheel together. Bend the tabs, pull that out, and remove the front wheel, then the rest of the bike. Once you've got the bike and all the parts out of the box, set the box to the side just in case there's any issues with the bike and you need to send it back to us. Now it's time to clip all the zip ties. Whatever you're using, be mindful of the paint below the zip ties and don't mark or scratch your new bike. Once you've got the zip ties all clipped off and all the styrofoam removed from the bike, set it in the box, reach around with your right hand and grab both of the brake arms, squeeze gently and rotate the fork so that it clears the frame and the fork's rake is facing forward and the brake is pointing out towards the front of the bike. Now that the bike's unpacked, we can move along to assembly. Time to put the seat on. Take your paper towels or Q-tips and the grease that was supplied and apply a thin layer on the bottom 4 inches of the seat tube. Next, slide the seat post into the frame. Don't worry so much about the height at this moment. We'll touch more on that during adjustments in just a little while. Take the 4 or 5 millimeter Allen key, depending on your model, and tighten the seat post clamp down so that the seat is secure. Now it's time to install the handlebars. Take your 5 millimeter Allen key and remove the 4 bolts on the front faceplate of the stem. Once you've got the faceplate off of the stem, take all 4 bolts and dip them into the grease very lightly so there's just a dab on the very bottom of the threads. Take your handlebars and hold them up and make sure that all the cables did not get tangled up in the shipping process and are smooth and nice straight flowing into the frame. Next, put the handlebars into the curved part of the stem and make sure that the center arrow decal is directly in the center of the stem. This next step, it's a bit of a juggling act, but you've got this. With one hand, hold the handlebars and the faceplate of the stem, squeezing them together. With your free hand, start each of the 4 stem bolts and just lightly thread them in by hand. We'll tighten them down with the wrench later. Special note, if the stem bolts do not thread in very easily, back them all the way out and restart the process. You do not want to cross thread the threads. Before we put the front wheel on, we need to make sure that the front brakes are open. Grab the cable with one hand and while pushing on the brake arm with the other, lift up, releasing the cable from the brake cradle. Next, let's install the front wheel. Remove the tension nut and 1 spring from the front skewer, slide it through the hub, replace the spring, and screw the cap on just a few threads. Special note, make sure that the skewer springs are installed in the direction shown or the front wheel will not slide in. Now that we've got the front skewer installed, slide the wheel in between the fork dropouts. With the wheel in the dropout, rotate the tension nut till it starts getting close to the fork dropout. Check periodically the tension on the skewer lever. It should be nice and snug, but not overly tight. A small imprint should be left on the palm of your hand when closing. With the front wheel installed, it's time to reconnect the front brake. Grab both brake arms with one hand and squeeze together while guiding the cable back into the cradle with your other free hand. Once the cable is back inside the guide, give the brake lever a quick squeeze to make sure that everything is even and functioning properly. Now that we've got the bike fully assembled, it's time to make some adjustments. First, we're going to adjust the angle of your handlebars. Now everybody's just a little bit different, but we have concluded that between 30 and 50 degrees of angle for your handlebar levers are the most comfortable positions. You want to make it so that your arms and your index finger are in a straight line, and then your wrists are not bent too far down or too far up to make it uncomfortable. Now, in determining the angle, the easiest way, apps on a smartphone. There's tons of them out there, they're easy to use, but also if you don't have access to that, you can eyeball it. There's no problem in that, just as long as you have a comfortable position. Once you've found a comfortable position for your handlebars, tighten down each stem bolt in a cross pattern with a 5mm Allen key evenly until all the bolts are tight and the bars no longer rotate inside the stem. Proper torque setting, 5 Nm. Next, let's adjust your seat. Grab your 4 or 5mm Allen key and slightly loosen the seat post clamp so that the seat post can move up and down freely. Stand next to the bike and position the saddle just about level with your hip bone, and then tighten the clamp down. The sweet spot is a 20-degree bend at the knee. It may take a few rides and a few adjustments to find the sweet spot. Next, let's make sure your tires are properly inflated. Our tires come with a range of 50 PSI to 85 PSI. Again, it might take a few rides and a few adjustments to find out what's perfect for you, but as long as you stay within the range of 50 to 85 PSI, you're good. Next, take the valve cap off and unscrew the valve nut. Put the pump head on and inflate to desired PSI. Once you've got it, remove the pump head and screw the valve nut down closed. Replace the valve cap and move on to the back tire. And that's it, your bike's ready to ride. If you have any further questions, give us a shout or drop us a line at service@tomasobikes.com.